Hello, everyone. Welcome to EP Learning English. My name is Tommy, and I am so happy to be here with you today. In this episode, I want to share something very important, something that many English learners often forget. It is the real secret to speaking English fluently. When people think about learning English, they usually think about grammar, about rules, about long vocabulary lists. But today, I want to tell you something different. I want to show you that the true key is not grammar, not lists, not exercises. The true key is listening. Yes, listening. Listening is the real secret to fluency. If you want to speak English easily, naturally, and with confidence, you must first listen. Listening is the foundation of language. Without listening, speaking becomes slow, stressful, and difficult. But with listening, speaking becomes natural, just like breathing. So, in this episode, we are going to explore together why listening is so powerful, how it can transform your English, and what you can do every day to make listening your strongest tool. So, let's get started. When most people start learning English, they usually follow the traditional path. They buy grammar books. They try to memorize long lists of vocabulary. They do hundreds of exercises and worksheets. And of course, grammar and vocabulary are useful. They have their place. But here is the problem. They are not the heart of language learning. Think about it. How many times have you studied grammar rules, like the past tense or the difference between in, on, and at, but still felt stuck when you tried to speak? How many times have you memorized 50 or 100 new words, but then, when you wanted to use them in a conversation, your mind went blank? This happens to almost every learner, because rules and lists cannot give you real fluency. They are tools, but they are not the engine. The truth is this: grammar and vocabulary are like decorations on a house, but listening is the foundation. If you try to build the house with decorations only, it will fall apart. But if you build a strong foundation with listening, the house becomes solid, and the decorations, grammar, and vocabulary fit naturally on top. Listening gives you something grammar never can. It gives you rhythm. It gives you sound. It gives you the natural flow of English. With enough listening, your brain starts to notice patterns without effort. You begin to understand grammar rules without reading them. You remember vocabulary without memorizing. And most importantly, you develop a natural feeling for the language. So, yes, grammar is useful. Vocabulary is necessary. But they are not the starting point. The real starting point, the real center, the real heart of English learning is listening. Let us look at the most natural example of all: a child learning their first language. A baby does not open a grammar book. A baby does not sit down with a notebook and try to memorize a list of 100 new words. A baby does not take tests or write essays. No, a baby spends months, sometimes almost a year, doing just one thing: listening. From the very first day, the baby hears sounds, the voices of the parents, the rhythm of conversations, the tone of people's emotions: happy, sad, excited, angry. Day after day, hour after hour, the baby is surrounded by language. And what does the baby do? The baby listens silently. There are no words yet, no sentences, not even short answers. Just listening. And here is where the magic happens. After many months of listening, something amazing begins. The baby suddenly produces a sound. Maybe it is mama or dada, maybe just one simple word. Then, a few weeks later, 2 words. After that, short sentences. And soon, the child is talking and talking, without ever studying grammar rules or vocabulary lists. Think about this carefully. The child listened for almost a year before saying even one word. That is the secret. A long period of input first, and then, naturally, output begins. This process is so powerful that it works for every single child on earth, no matter the language. English, Arabic, Spanish, Japanese, it does not matter. The process is always the same. Listen first. Speak later. Now, imagine if someone tried to teach a baby the way most schools teach adults. Imagine giving the baby a grammar textbook at 6 months old. Imagine asking the baby to memorize irregular verbs or prepositions. Of course, it would be impossible. The baby would cry, feel stressed, and learn nothing. But when the baby listens, everything flows naturally. The baby learns without pressure, without stress, without rules. This is the natural way. This is the secret that we often forget as adults. Listening is not just practice. It is the engine that makes language come alive. When we grow up, something strange happens. We forget this natural process. As adults, we believe that learning a language must be hard, complicated, and full of rules. We enter classrooms, we buy grammar books, we memorize lists of irregular verbs. We think that if we can only master the rules, then speaking will be easy. But the truth is very different. Rules and exercises can give us information, but they do not give us fluency. Fluency comes from something much deeper, something that rules alone cannot create. Fluency comes from listening. Lots and lots of listening. Yet, most adult learners do the opposite. They want to speak quickly, so they try to skip the listening stage. They spend hours doing grammar drills, filling in the blanks, writing sentences. They may even try to speak before they have had enough input. What happens then? Frustration, stress, doubt. Maybe you have felt it yourself. You know the grammar rule in your head, but when it is time to speak, your mouth freezes. You hesitate. You translate in your mind. The words come out slowly, painfully, and without confidence. And then you feel disappointed. You think, why can I not speak? I studied so much. This is the common mistake of adults. We try to reverse the process. We try to put speaking first and listening second. But language does not work that way. Speaking cannot grow without listening first, just like a tree cannot grow without roots. And the more we push ourselves to speak without enough listening, the more stress we create. Our brain feels pressure, our confidence drops, and learning becomes a struggle. This is why so many learners give up. They believe they are not talented, or that English is too difficult. But in reality, the problem is not talent, and the problem is not English. The problem is the method. When we ignore listening, we ignore the heart of language learning. But when we return to listening, everything changes. So, what is the solution? The solution is actually very simple. We must return to the natural way. We must go back to listening, just like children do. Listening should not be a small part of your study. Listening should be at the very center of your learning. Think about it like this. Listening is the foundation of a building. If the foundation is weak, the whole building will collapse. But if the foundation is strong, you can build as high as you want. Grammar, vocabulary, speaking practice, they are all like walls and decorations. They are useful, but they cannot stand without a strong base. And that base is listening. When you make listening the heart of your English journey, something powerful happens. You stop worrying about rules all the time. You stop translating in your head. You stop hesitating. Instead, your brain starts to pick up patterns naturally, without effort. The rhythm, the sounds, the intonation, all of it begins to feel normal, like music playing in the background of your life. And here is the most encouraging part. Speaking will come automatically. You do not need to force it. You do not need to memorize perfect sentences and then try to push them out. The words will rise naturally, just like they did when you were a child. After enough listening, your brain will start to produce English almost by itself. Some learners worry, but if I only listen, will I never speak? Do not worry. Speaking will come. It may take some time, but once your ears are full of English, your mouth will follow. That is how the brain is designed to learn languages. It is not about forcing. It is about receiving first and then giving back. So, if you feel tired, if you feel stuck, if grammar rules are making you stressed, take a step back. Put grammar aside for a moment. Make listening your main focus. Listen every single day, even if it is just for 10 minutes. Podcasts, audiobooks, TV shows, YouTube videos, it does not matter. What matters is that you surround yourself with English sounds. The more you listen, the more natural speaking will become. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might say, "But Tommy, listening is hard. When I listen to native speakers, they talk so fast. I cannot catch the words. I feel lost." And you are right. At the beginning, listening feels difficult. It can even feel impossible sometimes. Native speakers connect their words together. They do not pronounce every single word slowly and clearly, like in a textbook. Instead, they use contractions, they blend sounds, and sometimes they even drop sounds completely. For example, going to becomes gonna, and want to becomes wanna. If you only learned English from grammar books, this can feel like another language. On top of that, native speakers use slang, idioms, and cultural expressions. You might hear phrases like hit the road, piece of cake, or hang in there. If you translate word by word, it makes no sense. This is why many learners feel frustrated. They try to understand everything 100%, and when they cannot, they feel like they failed. But here is the good news. You do not need to understand everything. Understanding everything is not the goal in the beginning. Think about when you listened to music in another language. Did you understand every word? Probably not. But you still enjoyed the sound, the rhythm, the feeling. Language is the same. At the start, you only need to let your ears become familiar with the music of English. It is like training your ear. The first time, it sounds too fast. The second time, it feels a little better. The third time, you notice one or two words. Slowly, slowly, your brain begins to recognize more. And after enough practice, you will be surprised at how much you can understand. So, do not worry if you feel confused. Do not worry if you miss words. That is normal. In fact, that is part of the process. What you need is patience and consistency. Listen every day. Listen to the same audio many times. Do not expect magic in one day. But after weeks and months, you will see progress. Remember, listening is not about perfection. It is about exposure. The more you hear English, the more comfortable your brain becomes. Little by little, the language stops sounding like noise and starts sounding like meaning. And that is when real progress begins. Think about music for a moment. When you listen to a song, you do not take a notebook and try to write down every single note. You do not translate the sound of the guitar or the piano into your language. You do not stop the song every 2 seconds to ask, "What does this note mean?" Of course not. You simply enjoy the sound. You feel the rhythm. You let the music move you. Language is exactly the same. English has its own rhythm, its own melody, its own music. If you listen to it again and again, even without understanding every word, your brain begins to recognize the patterns. It hears where words begin and end. It notices which words are stressed and which ones are soft. It catches the natural rise and fall of sentences, the pauses, the intonation. At first, it might feel like noise, but the more you listen, the more your brain organizes the sounds. Just like listening to a new song, the first time it feels confusing, the second time you notice the chorus, the third time you catch some lyrics. After listening many times, the song becomes familiar. You can even sing along without looking at the lyrics. The same is true for English. The first time you hear a conversation, it feels fast and impossible. The second time, you notice 1 or 2 words. The third time, you recognize a whole phrase. After many times, you begin to anticipate the words, and soon you can even sing along by repeating them. This is why I tell my students to treat English like music. Do not study it only with rules and drills. Enjoy it. Let it play in your ears every day. Listen while you are cooking, while you are walking, while you are relaxing. Make it part of your life, just like your favorite song. When you do this, English stops being a school subject. It becomes a sound, a rhythm, and a natural part of you. And when your ears are full of English, your mouth will naturally follow. Just like you can sing along with a song, you will be able to speak along with English. Now, let me share with you one of the most powerful techniques to connect listening with speaking. It is called shadowing. Maybe you have heard about it before, or maybe this is the first time. But believe me, if you practice shadowing regularly, your English will improve faster than you imagine. So, what is shadowing? It is very simple. You listen to someone speaking English, and at the same time, you repeat what they say, immediately, without waiting, without translating. It is like becoming the speaker's shadow. They speak, and you follow instantly with your own voice. Why is this so powerful? Because shadowing trains your ears, your mouth, and your brain at the same time. Your ears listen, your mouth copies, and your brain connects the sounds with meaning. It is like a full workout for your English. Let me give you the steps clearly. Step 1. Choose the right audio. It should not be too difficult. A good rule is that you understand about 70%. If it is too hard, you will feel frustrated. If it is too easy, you will not grow. Find something in the middle, like a short podcast, a story, or a YouTube video. Step 2. Listen once without speaking. Just let the sounds enter your ears. Do not pause. Do not write. Do not worry about every word. Focus on the rhythm, the flow, the music of the language. Step 3. Listen again, and this time, shadow. As the speaker talks, you repeat immediately. Do not wait for the end of the sentence. Do not stop to check the dictionary. Just follow. even if you make mistakes. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is practice. Step 4. Repeat many times. This is the key. The first time, it feels difficult. The second time, it feels a little easier. The third time, you begin to notice improvement. By the 10th time, your mouth feels faster, your tongue feels freer, and the words come more naturally. The beauty of shadowing is that you do not just learn words, you learn how to say them. You copy the pronunciation, the rhythm, and the intonation of real English. This makes your speaking more natural and less robotic. And here is another secret. You do not need hours. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. If you shadow every day, your progress will be faster than if you study grammar for hours. Why? Because you are training the skill you really need, listening and speaking together. So, remember, shadowing is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent. The more you shadow, the more confident you will become. And little by little, you will sound more like a natural English speaker. So, what happens if you make listening and shadowing a daily habit? What kind of results can you expect? The answer is simple: transformation. If you stay consistent, your English will not just improve a little, it will change in a big way. First, your pronunciation will improve. When you listen carefully and shadow again and again, your mouth begins to copy the exact sounds of native speakers. You start to notice small details, like how certain letters disappear in fast speech, or how words connect smoothly together. Over time, your accent becomes clearer, your rhythm becomes smoother, and people understand you more easily. Second, your confidence will grow. Many learners feel nervous when speaking English. They hesitate, they pause, they are afraid of making mistakes. But when you train with listening and shadowing every day, you build automatic habits. Words come faster, sentences flow more easily, and you feel less pressure. Instead of worrying about grammar or searching for words, you just speak. And that confidence shows in every conversation. Third, your fluency will increase. Fluency is not about knowing every grammar rule or every word in the dictionary. Fluency is about speaking without stopping, without hesitation. Shadowing trains your brain and your mouth to move together quickly. This makes your English sound natural, smooth, and alive. And here is the best part. You do not need hours every day. Just 10 or 20 minutes of focused listening and shadowing can make a huge difference if you do it consistently. Think about it. 10 minutes a day means 70 minutes a week. That is almost 5 hours a month. And 5 hours of deep, focused practice is enough to push your English to a new level. This is how habits work. One small step every day becomes powerful over time. Just like going to the gym, you do not become strong in one day. But with regular training, your muscles grow. The same is true with English. Your listening becomes sharper, your speaking becomes faster, and your confidence becomes stronger. So if you are serious about improving your English, do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until you know enough grammar or memorize more words. Start today. Listen more. Shadow more. Build the habit. And then watch your English transform, slowly but surely, into something natural, fluent, and confident. So, my friends, let me finish today's episode with 3 simple but powerful messages. These 3 ideas can guide your English learning and keep you on the right path. First, listen more. Make listening the heart of your study. Not grammar drills, not writing exercises, but listening. When you give your brain enough input, speaking will grow naturally. Remember, listening is not just practice. It is the foundation of language learning. Second, shadow often. Do not just listen passively. Choose simple audio, repeat after it, and practice many times. Do not be afraid of mistakes. Do not worry if your voice is not perfect at first. The more you shadow, the stronger your speaking becomes. Third, be patient. Language is not built in one day. Give yourself time, trust the process, and believe in the power of listening. If you stay consistent, the results will come. So, thank you so much for joining me today on English Pathways. I'm Tommy, and I can't wait to see your progress. Until next time, keep listening, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourself. Bye for now.